Yo Rana, welcome to FM Tahiti. I'm Pelham, and in this episode we've got a couple of games to play. We've got a game against Manuae Island Society, which is coming up next in the league, and then I will probably, depending on what goes on, move on to either the match against Motu1 or the match against the Turtengegi Wings in the Mutiny Trophy, probably the Trophy one. We played a couple of matches, so the last time we were here we beat Skybrights 4-0, Pite 2-0, really promising. 6 goals, nothing conceded. In the very next match I played, we then lost 1-0 against the Eels with that man Fred Tissot scoring. He's scored against us a few times, I think, actually. So he's not bad. Not bad is Fred. I don't know if he looks any good. I actually skipped over that completely to look at his record. His attributes are decent. I think as we've established from some of our own players, these don't need to be all green for them to be banging them in. So he's got 12 goals in 13 Premiership appearances. So, yeah, decent. So we lost against them and we deserved to lose. It was a poor match. We just looked completely lacklustre. Nobody played well. To the point where I kind of almost switched off, and I made some substitutions, but they were really late, just because I couldn't see any way out of that one. But then we went and played against Tahiti Island, the Eruptors, and beat them 3-2, and it was a very nervy 3-2. That own goal was kind of like a deserved own goal, so it was a good free kick, and then it bounced back off the post against the back of the keeper, so he was more or less on for a goal anyway. Semi Gerard got his next goal, a nicely taken header. Naran scored from a rebound. Essentially, he's tucked it in. For the first half, the Eruptors played terribly until Ricky Reednut scored, who scored against us before. I think he used to play for the Exiles, so he scored against us last season. He did, yep. 2 goals, one of them against us. This season, 2 goals, one of them against us. Consistent. But then they clawed their way back into it, and the second half was really nervy. It was really, really nervy. Interestingly, they're one of the teams that's getting an expansion to their stadium, but they only managed to get 122 people there, and 5 of them were our fans who made the long trip over for it. So I don't think they're going to be filling their stadium much, especially seeing as they might get relegated this season. So if we look at the table, Tahiti are now bottom. Felt a bit bad beating them, considering how well they played in towards the end, and also I've got a soft spot for them. One of my favourite teams, the Eruptors, just from playing with them in the original version of this that me and my brother used to play on a network save. So they're down there. Taha have just sacked their manager because they weren't doing well enough. And then up here, I think you could say maybe from 7th onwards, that's a really kind of loose or tight, depending on how you want to do it, race. So there's 3 of us on 24, and 2 of us with a game in hand on one of them, so we're in 3rd. Then you've got another 2 on 22, then a 20, then a 19. So there's only 6 points between 7th to 1st. That's quite close. So it's really difficult to call at the moment. But let's get into the match against Manuae. Wallace is suspended because he loves to get himself some yellow cards. I'm going to give Henderson a start because one of the most impressive things about Henderson in the last match, so I brought him on as a sub again, was that he was able to run. Which I know doesn't sound like something particularly impressive, but a long ball went through and he actually ran and beat a defender to the ball, even though he's been laid off for almost a year with his cruciate ligaments. Anderweg's a bit tired, so let's bring on Bolt. And that will have to do, I think. Let's leave Weight on, because Manuel was tired in the last one, so give Weight another match. Interesting. I've not come against this formation in the Premiership, I don't think. 4-1, 4-1. Feels a bit defensive. See how we do against them. My assistant manager still wants us to say nothing to them, just let them go out without saying anything, but I don't think so. Give them a shake. My Uru2 colours. Starting to fill up that stand there quite nicely. We must be almost guaranteed to get an expansion unless our finances stop us. Have a look at the finances in the bit, because they could quite well stop us from doing a lot of things. That's how bad the finances are. Go on, wait. Long ball. Get it to semi. Smacks it against them. If you can't score, bruise them. Take them out of the game. Williamson, one of our he's a backup striker now, but he played a lot of games last season because we didn't have many strikers, and he got like 7 league goals or something like that. He's complaining that he's not getting enough game time. So all I had to do was you get all those options about are you going to give him a chance from the bench or in the cup, or he's got to wait, or he's got to do something to impress you, that kind of thing. One of the options is obviously you can't play because player X is in the form of his life right now. And it's really useful having Gerard in the form of his life. I think he's got 19 goals now since the start of the season. We're only 13 league games in. So he's doing the business. So I was able to say, well, I'm not playing you because I'm playing Gerard. He's amazing. And he accepted it. It's useful having that as a weapon. I know they don't always accept it, and they can be really awkward sometimes in the conversations you have with them, but it was nice that I've got that as a legitimate reason. I'm not just lying to them when I say Gerard's in the form of his life. He is. Go on. Apparently there's teams interested in Salaberry. I think I'm getting a lot more of the transfer news and a lot more of the wanted news coming through because financially we're a bit screwed at the moment. I think the idea there is we're going to get more of this information because we're going to become more of a selling team to try and get out of it. But obviously if the most we've ever received as a transfer fee, the most anyone's ever received as a transfer fee in the Premiership this season is £275. If we sold our entire team and our under-23s, we would still be massively in debt. There's not enough there to do anything to our actual debt situation, so there's no point in us being a selling club. I think eventually bigger transfer fees will get involved, but go on, Gerard. Just love to run. Henderson a little bit late with his run there. We close him down. Go on, Richards. And Henderson's there, he can still do it. And I think because of that, Williamson is going to be the one to go. Got Gerard, got Wallace, they're the first choice pairing, but got Chisholm and Richards, they're the backup pairing essentially now. He can still do it. I think Manuae around about mid-table-ish. Check that when we go back onto the other screen. Go on, wait, get it in. Always forget the right winger's set to attack, so he's a bit more selfish than the left. Say that, the left winger Richards just has a pop. It's a good position there. Henderson trying to do a carbon copy of his goal. Fred Tissett just scored for Huahine. I can spot a goal scorer, especially when they score against me all the time. Apparently McIntyre is coming on leaps and bounds. That's what the coaches have been telling me. He's looking better. Actually, I'm just generally quite happy with the balance of the team. The only real issue is, I think at this stage, not having someone who can really fit that ball-winning midfielder role perfectly. Weaver's doing his best. Higgins will slot in there sometimes, but it's just not ideal. Oh, that was good. They were just far too fast for us. We never actually caught up with them. Vidal, it was a good break. What are these two doing? Jansen and McIntyre. They're the two full-backs, so the centre-backs were still... This is my fault. I always put my centre-backs, or at least one of them, up in the box for a corner or free kick. So they didn't get back in time. It's left those two clowns to deal with that. Okay, 1-all's fine. We can do something with that. I was hoping we'd be kind of streaking off into the distance so I could give you some Manuae Society Island facts without pressure. But that's not going to happen. You're still going to get the facts though, whether you want them or not. I'm not happy. Yeah, fired up. I was tempted to say we've been unlucky, but actually no, I'm not happy with that. That's not right. Tactics. I think Henderson's going to have to come off, because although he scored and he's good, he's not at his best. Bring Chisholm on for some fresh legs. I'll leave Manuel will probably be the next one on for weight. Right, so Manuae Society facts. So, you might notice from the badge, they've got a sea turtle, some palm trees, and Manuae Islands more or less a nature reserve. It's got about 50 people on there, I think mainly deal with it as a nature reserve. It's got a big massive internal lagoon, and it's known for having lots of green sea turtles that come there, sort of spawn and hatch. It's also got lots of oysters, I think, in the main lagoon itself, and it's just got, various birds and things like that, so it's a little nature reserve. And we've obviously just smacked this 500-seater stadium. Ooh, Chisholm almost there, almost through. So he's a good option to have, isn't he? Yeah, Manuae have smacked their 500-seater stadium somewhere on the nature reserve. I'm sure that won't have any adverse effects on the wildlife. I'd be interested to hear if any of you if anyone watching these videos has ever actually been to French Polynesia, or if you're from Polynesia somewhere, that'd be fantastic. Do leave a comment if you have been, so you can tell me just how jealous I should be. Right, let's bring Manuel on for weights. Got a lot of defenders on the bench. Let's bring Spearling on for Naren. He's got a yellow card and I don't trust him. He's got priors. Although he's one of the ones who reacted quite well to getting fined in the past. I've only had one player not react well to it. And now they've all started to get in line, so it's the standard. If you get sent off, you get a week's wage fined. If you get sent off for something that's particularly violent, then you get more than the standard ban, 2 weeks. Go on, Richards. Oh, that was almost beautiful. To take a draw. We have been out shooting them, we've got better possession. They're going to score now, aren't they? No. Put him through. I said put him through, I have no idea who was meant to put through then, because everyone just stopped running. Corner. See what we can do with this. I think a draw might be a fair result, actually, even though we look like we're edging it. We've not actually been that good. We've not seen too much that's been amazing. We've come close a few times, like from corners. At Chisholm, one where he got through, Gerard almost got one. But we've hardly been actually, dominating. Manuae again, they're 10th. So great. Remember, we're trying to chase down that OCL spot, and it looks like we're not going to be able to do it. If we carry on like this, dropping points, not going to manage it. Why didn't Gerard jump? That looked perfect for him. I'm starting to worry that Gerard's going to get absolutely knackered. He's playing pretty much all the games. Assertive and lucky. Yeah, that'll do. Don't know how you assertively tell people are unlucky, but that'll do. So there we are. We have 2-point gap with the teams in front of us and a 3-point gap with the teams behind us. So we're kind of wedged in there as it stands. I'll show you the finances again. That's not great, is it? Rejection, even worse. And I'll also show you stats for Semi-Gerard. So 19 games all in all, 19 goals, 5 assists, 7 man of the matches. He's doing good. His attributes don't look amazing, but he's doing good. So I think he's a lot like Fred Tissot. If I could sign Fred Tissot as well, even though Fred Tissot's like a poacher and that doesn't really fit in with what I play. They'd just be banging him in for fun all the time. But right, we'll stop there and we shall come back for the wings match, probably. And we are back. So I played one game in between the Manuae match and this match, which was against Motu1, where we won comfortably 2-0. Predictably, Gerard getting the brace. He had it by half time, so I took him off at half time, which I know seems a little bit harsh because he's on a potential hat trick. But he's been on a potential hat trick several times this season and never actually done it. And this match was like 3 days after the Motu1 match. I thought I might as well take him off, rest him, he's done his job, and then have him available for this match. So there are 2 games left in the Mutiny Cup group stage. So we've got Turtengegia Wings, and I think we've got Puka Puka as the last game. We could potentially, depending on how the other games go, qualify for the final in this match. If Mangreva lose their match, which is probably the day after this one, or a couple of days after this one, we could go through. So I might check when that is actually. That would be sensible, wouldn't it, to work out how long we've got to wait to find out. That's not helped. What's happened to their team? This isn't good, is it? If they've got anyone in there under 20. No. Their team must have been poached. Right? Yes, a lot of players have been poached. And I'm guessing that financially they're not in a good position. Can't tell. Can't remember where it goes, where it says what position they're in. Oh, so we could do. Well, it could be that they lose quite easily. It's sad for them there. So they've got the Terrors on the 21st. They've got it in about 3 days. What's going on? Oh yeah, need to actually select the team. So I'll bring on Andy Wegg for Bolt, because Bolt's been playing for the under-23s today, as has Douglas. Bring Manuel on for weight. Naran. Spearling on for Naran for the moment because he's a bit tired. Chisholm's going to go off for Wallace. Bench. Quite a few players who are unavailable because they've been playing for the 23s. There we go, that should be. It's a decent squad. That should do okay. Actually, let's bring Chant on for Salabri because Chant's not played for a bit. See how we do against the Turtengegia Wings, who play on what looks like to be a sand pitch. Again, I really don't like the textures for the sand pitch because it looks very tiled compared to the clay ones. Interesting formation. Don't think we've played against them other than in the Mutiny Trophy, because they're in the under-23s gold. They're from the island Turgengi. I think a couple of different ways to spell or pronounce it. I mean, there's lots of different ways to pronounce it, not many of them correct, but different ways to spell it. And they're an island that's basically a stone's throw from Mangareva, and this island is basically one giant airstrip. It's a big, long, thin island with an airstrip on, but it's one of the ones you've got to go to if you want to get to places like the Pitcairn Islands, which is a British. Oh, go on, get rid of this. Push him back, get rid of it. Yeah, it was a bit too much there, Wallace. Yeah, if you want to go to the Pitcairn Islands, which is one of the British overseas territories, it's one of the hardest ones to get to. You've got to get a plane to Tahiti, and then from Tahiti you've got to get a plane to Tuamotun, and then from there you've got to get a boat that takes about 36 hours to get you to the Pitcairn Islands. There's not many other ways to get there, so it's useful if you need to make that connection, if you're ever on a trip to the Pitcairns. On Wallace, there we go. He looked horrendously offside to me, but So, long throw that actually went short. Richard skips past that. Wallace heads it in. So Wallace had a rest last match, and I think he had a rest the match before that actually, so he should be quite fit. I don't want to burn him out too much because he's a bit younger than Gerard is. We've also got our keeper, Ahmed Smith, back. So he was injured briefly, so I had to bring on that other youth goalkeeper. I think his name's Scott. And then when Ahmed got fit again, I forgot to make the swap, so Scott ended up playing like an extra 4 or 5 games than he needed to. Just blitzed through, didn't he? Wendell Roy. Good name. No, he didn't blitz through. It was the other player who blitzed through. He was just stood there. I could kind of forgive it if it was the other player who just made that massive run. Okay, 1-1. Less than ideal. If we beat them, we essentially knock them out the running for the final. It just becomes us versus the shellfish. It's a good run. It went nowhere, but good run up until that point. So yeah, we've got Smith back in goal. Ahmed Smith back in goal. Scott Jones, that's the name of the keeper, I think. The other youth keeper. But he did alright. And I'm kind of glad I forgot because it means he's had more matches than he would normally get at this level. I wouldn't normally trust him. Oh, goal. Very difficult to see where the ball actually was for a second there because of the colour of the pitch. Spearling. His first goal of the season. I mean, it was lucky that it got to Spearling. It looked like it bounced off the back of the head. But he tucks it away. Why is he doing it again? He's fine. Yeah, Spearling's not played as many matches as I would have hoped, mainly because Naran's been actually quite good. But he has come on quite a few, and he's just not really wowed. Good tackle. He tends to be more of a... It's weird. Players, you get a feel of how certain players play. Their kind of like character and their style. Oh, go on, Jared, get it in. So when Naran's playing, he drives forward with it a lot and attacks, and he gets in the box a lot. Whereas Spearling seems to get the ball quite deep. He does have the trait, comes deep to get ball, but he's also meant to be an attacking midfielder, so he shouldn't have that much of an impact. Go on, Weaver. Never mind. But yeah, the ball seems to get to Spearling, and then he plays it or 1-2s it around, and he's kind of not the right fit for this long ball game, but he does keep possession quite well. He was meant to be the best. Go on, Gerard. He was meant to be the best youth prospect from our intake, so he's the highest rated. And he's been good. Like he's not been terrible by any stretch, but he's just not. Considering how well some of the other youth prospects have done, he's not been up to the same standard. Managed to motivate the keeper. She's good, but I would have rather motivated the other 10 outfield players if I could have done. Weaver's tired, Richards is tired. I don't really have any options for Weaver. Let him play for another 10-15 minutes and I might try the diamond. That's the only thing that's going to come close to fitting what we've got. Jared gets it down. He's offside. I praised his recent form when he loved it, but I don't think he loves me yet. Wallace does. I'm one of Wallace's favoured personnel. Gerard's not quite there yet, but I'm working on him. Kind of want to get as many of the players to love me as possible. Not just for sort of narcissistic reasons, but if we're financially struggling, we might not be able to offer as much as some of the other clubs. I'd like them to love me in the club so they're more likely to stay here. If they go, we go. We have to rebuild, and they're this good. Like, I don't think we're going to win the title or anything like that this year. But we've got a good base. There's not a huge amount we need to improve to actually challenge in the future. Got Spearling all out. Again. See? I say horrible things about him, and he actually starts to bag him in. Admittedly, this is in the Mutiny Trophy against an under 23's Gold League side, but it's, you know, goal's a goal. He takes a free kick as well. Gerard takes it down with his head. Not to be. 60th minute, that's when I'll make the tactical change. That's a bit wayward. A little bit wayward. I'll show you the league as well after this, because we've that win over Motu1, that 2-0 win with Gerard's brace, put us up to second. Maybe on goal difference, I can't remember. We've got the news item saying we're in the running for the OCL places. So it's good that we're still keeping in touching distance of that. The league still has to be the priority. If I'm looking at the... Oh, I forgot entirely. Was it's an extra 15 minutes more than I planned because I was just chatting away. Right. Thanks. Just go for this. Salaberry come off a Weaver. Spearling can stay as he is. Wait for Manuel. Chisholm on for Jared because he's both complacent because we're in the lead, and give him a bit of a rest. There we go. But yeah, sorry about that. It's completely blanked out whilst I was chatting. Yeah, if we look at the league table for the Mutiny Trophy, Mangrave need to win both of their games. Oh. Okay. This could all change before they rifle that one in. Yes, Smith should have had that, really. Okay, as it stands then, Mangrave need to win both of theirs and by enough of a margin to get 10 goals. So we've got 9 goals for our goal difference. Which they could do, but their team looks pretty depleted. And an upside of their team being depleted might be that when it comes to their youth intake, they just keep more. Which means there's more of the players for the Gambier Islands pool, which is the nation they represent. Just driving forwards, Chisholm. Nah. Let's see if we can get another one. Taking his time though, he doesn't need to. I've not told them to do any time wasting. It's not really enough time with that tactic to see if it's doing much, but I mean, technically that tactic's losing 1-0. It was a free kick, so I don't know if that really counts. Come on, come on. Let's blow the whistle. Got a lot of our fans there from the looks of it in their stadium. Obviously mixed seating, no one cares about segregating the fans. Yeah, we should have won by more, but well done. Keep the morale up, we won, that's the main thing. What I'll do is I'll just keep on continuing so we can see the result of the Mangrave match. Spearling's done well. Union Rematama boss wants Underweg, which he's not going to get if I've got anything to say about it. Weaver's going to be banned. So I'm going to have to bring that diamond out again unless Higgins is around. I think Brent McCloy is definitely going to be given a professional contract soon. Sam Kennelly, maybe? He did okay when we played him in 1 or 2 games, but his attributes don't look amazing. There's not a lot to work with from the off. Easter, I think, he could be okay actually in the future, but he's not going to get many chances when we've got Witt and Manuel on the right. Technically, yeah, Naran could play on there as well if he really wanted to. David Thomas should be dropped from the Austral Islands team because he's not been playing much. I agree. We've not played him a single match this season. And he was at best okay last season, so his time is coming to an end at the club, I think. Let's praise Half Gerard for that 9.05. The more I praise him, the more he's going to love me. Tupai Island FC have admitted that the Stade de la Poneru could be deserted. That's because it's like a massive stadium. They get hardly anybody. So here's the Mutineer Pride Trophy. So what we want to see is the Shellfish to drop points in any way. Even if they draw, that'll do. I guess Takaro Terras have also got a bit of a lean team. A lot of their players perched. They brought a lot of players in, but they also had a lot perched as well. And they won, so we won't know. If we look at the Statesville, so it's going to go down to the last match. If we get any points at all in that last match, we're in the final. So I think we've got a good chance. If we lose, the Shellfish could get there if they overturn this goal difference. So we've got 9, they've got 1. So if we lose, that goes down to 8 at the very least. It's not in the bag yet, but it's pretty much in the bag. It's like almost all the way in the bag. We've just not closed it. And then looking at the group, this could go. This is quite a tight one. So Lagunas, Exiles, Feral Cats, or Noraruta are all in with a shout for that one. Their Premier League, their Championship, and then the other 2 are in the Under-23s Gold, I think. So we'll end there. Thanks for watching. We'll come back for a few matches in a little while, but we're making progress. We could have a cup final coming up soon.